Question 17. What is helpful and what isn't when talking to someone who is bereaved? So there are many things that appear helpful. We have to be mindful of the bereaved's belief system and their lived experience. So much of what we say is often based on assumptions. So we really have to be clear um, that it isn't what they feel. So seek clarification and approach tentatively without any preconceived notions or ideas about what they may or may not be experiencing. Going back to that, each person's experience is their own. And you know, if you're going to support someone, if you're going to be there for them, and perhaps really trying to be there for the long haul, offer them space to talk, um, as and when the need arises. And they may choose to talk and they may choose not to. And I guess, allow room for honesty. We often want to protect those around us. We hide behind a mask and of positivity and feeling, upbeat and not really allowing people to see that we are, feeling vulnerable and perhaps, going through what perhaps is one of the most challenging periods of our lives. So, allowing people in, and when people do allow you in, if you are the person supporting the bereaved, then really allow them to have that space to be as honest and as open as they are willing to be. Quite often, somebody who's experiencing loss is afraid of, going to social situations and not quite feeling up to it, and being that person who brings down the mood of the group. So there is a real push to appear positive, to look like you're coping with it and you're doing really well. Well, in fact, perhaps what they need is just for their friends to be there, or their family members to be there, and just support them through what is really a difficult period and not have to meet these social expectations. And when somebody is going through a really difficult period, um, when we extend that hand of kindness in their hour of need, the chances are that that is something that they're going to remember for a very long time. And rarely do people forget things like that, and they are eternally grateful for that. And when we offer practical support to people, um, particularly in the aftermath of losing someone, those first couple of days when there is this barrage of people, supporters, people wanting to help and support. And of course it comes from a really good place, but sometimes it can be incredibly overwhelming. And you can have things that perhaps you ought not to feel worried about or have to manage, like you have all of this food, and what are you going to do with this food? You're going through such a difficult period, and perhaps you don't want to eat. So there's a loss of appetite. Then you have to think about, what am I going to share it out? Am I going to put it in the bin? So when we do offer practical support, perhaps we can be perhaps making sure that it's ongoing support as opposed to everybody kind of descending at once. So, use technology. WhatsApp is a brilliant way to organize ongoing support. So making sure that if we are going to cook for the bereaved family, then making sure that it doesn't all arrive at once, that it's staggered, that they've got, food and people checking in and supporting them over, a sustained period of time. And just bearing in mind that friendships are made and friendships are broken through these difficult times, and some are further cemented. So really extending that hand of kindness is much needed in these sort of circumstances.